Jacksonville's most outspoken community activists removed from a news conference with Governor DeSantis. Ben Frazier and a handful of other protesters demanding changes to the governor's COVID-19 policies and his handling of other issues. Frazier was led away in handcuffs.
When it comes down to the people's welfare, this governor does not care. He's an enemy of the people.
Okay, so I'm all for this. I don't have a problem with what he's doing. He can do what he wants. This is what he feels. He's passionate about these topics. He wants change. The only two things I care about is one of the issues he's talking about. Is it all the son-on-son murder in Jacksonville? Is that one of the things he's down here all incensed about? If so, then yeah. And two is, I hope they don't try to act like the fact that he got arrested was something to do with his hue, with his pigment. He got arrested. He wanted to get arrested. That was the point of this. To go down there and protest. This is how they do it. It's how these old school protesters, that's what they used to do. Force you to lock them up. And that was part of the protest.
When it comes down to the people's welfare, this governor does not care. He's an enemy of the people.
Ben Frazier's been charged with trespassing and has been ordered to appear in court.
The governor's office saying that Frazier was standing in the way of the people of Florida learning about life-saving COVID treatments, including monoclonal antibodies. News4 Jax reporter Jim Piggott is joining us live outside the state office building where the governor spoke and Frazier was arrested. Jim, this is already a controversial trespassing charge.
It is, and I will tell you, as you mentioned, this is where it happened. This is the state office complex right off Davis Street here in Springfield. And it was here where that ruckus broke out. And what had basically happened is Ben Frazier.
I never heard of a glacier glider use that term. What had happened? That's a new one, man. That's cultural appropriation, man. Y'all always stealing our stuff. What had happened was...
And it was here where that ruckus broke out. And what had basically happened is Ben Frazier made his comments even before the governor arrived, made it clear there. And he had told me before all of this happened, well, basically, he wanted to get his point across, and he wasn't afraid of being arrested. Ben Frazier of the Northside Coalition has always been vocal and has made it his mission to carry out protests on issues that he deems vital to the community. And before the governor spoke today, he made his point clear as he was being led from the room in handcuffs.
When it comes to public welfare, this governor does not care. This governor does not care. Why am I the only person being detained?
Well, he's still breathing. So let's just give it a little while. Maybe this what they've been telling us always happens when some men get arrested. Maybe it's a little too early in the encounter. So
why am I the only person being detained?
And outside, as he was being put into a JSO patrol car, others stood by chanting. While in the car, Frazier caught this interaction with the arresting officer on his cell phone.
But I was, in fact, arrested.
You were arrested and you are being released on your own recognizance, and that's the way JSO policy is written. Yes, sir.
It's a trespassing charge, which is a misdemeanor. He didn't go to jail, but was released on the spot.
I'm telling you, son, man. I know why you say you hate it here, because you want pasty liberal hugs. You're addicted to those. Son, man, don't ever leave this place, man. It's not like this in other places, man. Especially not in the motherland. In the motherland, they gonna throw you in the cell and forget about you. the embassy gonna have to make a fuss to come get you out. Don't ever leave this place, son, man. Stay here and complain and moan and whine and be a victim, but don't leave.
But I was, in fact, arrested.
You were arrested and you are being released on your own recognizance, and that's the way JSO policy is written. Yes, sir.
It's a trespassing charge, which is a misdemeanor. He didn't go to jail, but was released on the spot. During the news conference, the governor didn't talk about it, but this afternoon, his office released this statement. The press conference is for credentialed media to cover information about the governor's office and state leaders that's important for the public to hear. The protester detained by the Jacksonville police for trespassing this morning is not a member of the press. He's an activist who has disrupted official proceedings several times before, including a State Board of Education meeting and a City Council meeting that he forced to adjourn early. Every citizen has a right to protest in public places, but not to trespass in a secured facility in order to disrupt a press briefing and prevent information from being conveyed to the public. Now, News4Jax checked with several attorneys who said that it's questionable because this building is public, but did say that the demeanor of someone interrupting the event could be reason for the arrest. Now, I was able to talk to Frazier shortly after his arrest. Do you plan to continue these types of protests?
We will continue in the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis to make good trouble. The fact of the matter is that this is nothing new in terms of the civil rights struggle.
Okay, so we far enough in the story. I haven't heard him say one word about, the out of control violence in Jacksonville. It's literally out of control. It's bad down there, man. And I haven't heard him say one word about it. So this might be grandstanding, this might be self-promotion, this might be good trouble, like John Lewis, good trouble. I just don't understand how you could go down and make a fuss and it not be about the little kids getting hit with stray bullets, the women being murdered at an epic. I just don't understand how you do all this and not a word about that.
Do you plan to continue these types of protests?
We will continue in the tradition of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and John Lewis to make good trouble. The fact of the matter is that this is nothing new in terms of the civil rights struggle.
I'll tell you, this is gaining statewide attention. The state Republican Party basically said they were criticizing Frazier for his actions, while the Democratic Party, some Democratic members, and even the local Democratic Party are criticizing the governor over all of this. Now, if these charges hold up, if they're not dismissed, we mentioned that it is a misdemeanor. He could be fined and given court costs and asked to do community service. We're live near Springfield. Jim Pickett, Channel 4. The local station.